Hello and welcome to an update video for 2023. This is a little bit about the Western Montana Small Boat Association and what we are going to be doing in 2023, and a little bit about the work that has to do with my boat this year. So I figured it would be a good fit to the channel. I'm house sitting, which is a great opportunity to do this because I probably wouldn't do this in my own house. So, the Western Montana Small Boat Association. I don't believe I've spoken of it on the channel before, but I will basically read our mission statement. The goal of the Western Montana Small Boat Association, or WMSBA, you'll hear me refer to it as such, is to foster fellowship and education for small boat. We consider that to be under 17 feet, although there's a little leeway in that. Sailors, paddlers, rowers, and builders all over the Inland Mountain West. We are informal and open group of like-minded watercraft owners, builders, and enthusiasts who simply enjoy the comradeship that comes from shared interest, activity, and knowledge. Most of our activity is centered around Flathead Lake, Montana, but we've sailed in Idaho and Washington as well. We were founded by myself and my buddy Mike Seitz in 2010. We've been around since then. We've had members at the first two home-built boat shows at the Center for Wooden Boats on Lake Union in Seattle, Washington. That was kind of the genesis of this, where we saw a whole bunch of home-built boats, which is actually what the association originally was the Western Montana Home-Built Boat Association. But we decided that we wanted to include more people or have the ability to be more inclusive, so we changed the name. Pretty much what we do is it's pretty much honestly just me throwing things up on Facebook, trying to get people to come join me, primarily on Flathead Lake with small boats, no matter how they're propelled, and just try to grow a community up here. Because there's definitely enough people to get one started. It's just trying to herd cats, pretty much. So 2022 is a big sailing year. We got some people on the water. It was great. We had a really good time. There was a lot of sailing. We also held the first Smuggler's Run, which is a sailing adventure between the two yacht clubs on the lake, the South Flathead Yacht Club in Dayton, Montana, and then sailing all the way up to the North Flathead Yacht Club in Summers, Montana. We did it in Kat Boat this year, or last year, I should say, and it took us 14 hours. It was a slog, a fun slog. There was some night sailing. There was some night navigation into the yacht harbor. It was great. It was a lot of fun. But I was good after that for a while. It was a lot of sailing. So we'll be holding it again in 2023. But it was a lot of sailing. And since I have been the prime kind of driving force of WMSBA, it's going to be a slightly different year for me. So I thought I'd make this video to update not only, like I said, about the association, but also the boat itself. So Kat Boat has got some work to do before I'm comfortable really sailing her again. Seriously, I mean, I could put her in the water and go sailing if it wasn't frozen right now. But the seats definitely need some attention. We're planning on demoing the seats and putting new seat tops on, fiberglassing them, making them watertight, messing around with the compartments a little bit, trying to make it work a little better. I've got electrical bugaboos to chase down and fix. The sail needs a minor amount of work. We'd like to apply some decals onto it. I need to put grommets in it for the ensign. It's another thing I've got to do. And then the rig just has to be looked over. We got to redo the lazy jacks and some other stuff to look at. So that's going to be some pretty major work. Hopefully the weather's going to allow us to do it. I'm going to start trying to work here as soon as I can. If the weather's above 40 degrees, then I can do some minimal work while it's covered in its current location. The plan is to move it up to the Dayton Yacht Harbor and to dry sail out of there this year, which means that I'll actually have a away from house place to work, which is going to be really important to getting the work actually done. So I'm not sure when that's going to finish, but it is not going to sail until that work gets done. So what does that mean? That means that most likely our spring mess about is probably a wash. Traditionally, we have held it at Finley Point, which is one of the only state parks where you can rent a slip overnight. and have your boat in a slip overnight. We traditionally do that over Juneteenth weekend. The weather has not really been very good for that the last couple of years at all. It's been terrible. So our spring event is probably a wash this year. We may move to a day event held at Wild Horse Island. That's a possibility. We're definitely doing Smuggler's Run, working on dates for that. In that, while trying to maybe chat with some people about that, I learned that the North Flathead Yacht Club is going to be hosting the Thistle Nationals this year. So we're going to have 100 small boats come down, and it's going to be a weekend of racing at a national level on our lake. I'm hoping to volunteer for that maybe. Definitely go out and see it, but that's some pretty big news for small boating in our neck of the woods anyway. So we've got that. We'll definitely hold Smuggler's Run, and maybe something in the fall. I will attempt again to try to get enough small boats to hold a small boat regatta during the Labor Day regatta at the South Flathead Lake Yacht Club. But it's going to be a quiet year for WMSBA this year. But hopefully we'll get some more boats out of the deal, and the sailing that we do will be of high quality and Instagrammable. So that's pretty much what's happening on with the association this year. Furthermore, I am a member of the Traditional Small Craft Association, and we've got a few other members out there floating in the region. I am hoping that we can get 5 of us together long enough to start a chapter of the Traditional Small Craft Association up here on Flathead Lake, and that kind of covers this area of the inland Northwest. I mean, it would take a meeting a year and five paid members, and that would be kind of cool. It would give us some really awesome backing from a really great association that is directly involved with the type of sailing and work that we do through the Western Montana Small Boat Association. So I'm going to work on that this year. I have been kind of putting it off in years past, but I'm really going to try to push that this year, and hopefully you'll see a chapter starting here this year. That would be great. But really, as far as this channel goes, I think I've mentioned it in some of my other videos, but it's really hard for me to film my boat work because my boat work is so quick, and the reality of it is it looks really easy on YouTube, but when you throw a camera into the mix, it takes you 3 times as long. And quite frankly, I am not the type of person who really wants to spend 3 times as long doing the projects on my boat. So we might get some finished projects, and I'll show you the finished projects, but the process is going to be kind of sketchy through that. So that's kind of what you're going to see this year. I've got some projects lined up, and that's how it's going to work. So I hope you've enjoyed this update. If you like my content, feel free to subscribe. If you have questions or anything, feel free to comment. I enjoy engaging with all of you. I love this. I don't do this for a monetary gain. I do this because I love sailing, and I like sharing my sailing with you, as many of you share your sailing with me. So here's to a great 2023. Let's get our boats fixed up, get on the water, and as always, keep your peak up. See you next time.